welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah.
Veronica.
And today we're discussing A Court of Mist and Fury.
Woo woo! Book 2.
So, Veronica, what did you rate this book?
It's been a while.
Mm.
I don't remember. I don't know, it wasn't a 5. I think it was a 4.
You rated this one 4, but you rated it Court of Thorns and Roses 5?
I like the first book more.
Okay.
This one kind of got like me. But I liked it.
So what do you like about it?
I don't remember.
Oh, jeez.
It's been a long time. Okay.
I
like the third book more.
You like the third book?
With Nesta?
That's the fourth book.
Oh, well, I'm Team Nesta.
So it's Mist and Fury, then Wings and Ruin, and then Frost and Starlight, the novella, and then Silver Flames.
The novella. Ooh.
So you finished the series.
Mm-hmm.
Your favorite book in the series is
Team Nesta. I love
Silver
Nesta.
Flames. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's my favorite book too.
I'm Team Nesta through and through. I don't care what nobody says.
So, but getting back to Mist and Fury.
Okay.
So this one you rated 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
I think I gave this one 5 out of 5.
You like that
But
one?
I read this one.
Is it because of the smut?
No, I mean there's not a lot of smut in those.
It's chapter 57, 5.
Chapter 55.
Yeah.
When you think about like reading romance books and like smutty books, this has
Very little.
3
Yeah.
maybe intimate scenes, and they're pretty brief. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't call this
A smutty book. Is
no,
it?
no, and it wasn't because of that. And this is one of those books that like, if I go back and I reread it, I still kind of get butterflies whenever like Feyre's starting to fall in love and healing, and she's going through that process. Like it still gives me like the warm and fuzzies. So we'll do a recap since you don't remember it.
Yeah, let's recap it.
Okay, so when this book starts, we're 3 months removed from Under the Mountain,
Right.
and Feyre is living with Tamlin.
That's right. She goes back to Tam Tam because the sisters have been turned into...
Nope.
Not yet?
Nope.
When does that happen?
Wow. Let me recap it.
When was that, the end of this book?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
Cool.
Okay.
So
I'm way behind. There's 4 of those books or 5?
there's 5 if you include the novella.
Oh, fuck the novella.
There's 4 books and 1
The
novella.
novella was the Christmas special?
Yes.
Okay.
So anyways.
Sorry.
So we're 3 months removed from Under the Mountain. Feyre is living with Tamlin, and they're engaged. During this time, we also know that Rhysand has never called in his bargain, so he hasn't visited in 3 months since they've come back to the Spring Court. We are also introduced to a new character named Ianthe.
Oh, that bitch.
Mm.
Yeah.
When we're introduced to Ianthe, Feyre kind of says like she's just her friend, and she's been helping teach her the ways of court life in the Spring Court, kind of how to conduct herself. She's also helping Feyre plan her wedding to Tamlin.
Tam Tam.
Feyre and Tamlin during this time are also suffering from PTSD pretty badly.
Yeah, they went through everything.
And she's not really coping very well, and Tamlin is doing exactly what he did Under the Mountain, which is nothing.
Yeah.
So
is this when she goes like she's crying in the bathroom and like
Yeah.
that a lot for it?
yeah. So she's like getting up in the middle of the night throwing up. She's not really keeping down food, and she's kind of withering away. And because she has this like immortal lifespan, she's also having to deal with that. She's having to deal with the fact that she killed people in cold blood. She's having a rough time. She's also like she has not explored what has
her powers yet either, right?
her powers. She doesn't actually really know that whether or not she has powers, like if she was gifted anything from the High Lords that like brought her back to life. And then Tamlin, for his part, like he's suffering because he actually had to watch the person that he loves die.
Yeah.
So he's going through issues as well.
Tamlin is an issue, like period. He's just weird.
What I really liked about the writing that Sarah J. Maas does in this book, when I finished ACOTAR, Court of Thorns and Roses, and I started Mist and Fury, based on what happened with Rhysand, I kind of had a feeling where the story was going, and it really upset me because I really liked Tamlin. And at the beginning of this book, I really liked Tamlin.
I liked Tamlin. I thought he was funny. Like, my favorite thing of his was in the first book, and she didn't realize everybody was like there. I was like,
he glamored her.
He like glamored her, and I was like,
Right.
But like, you really do like him until like we get Under the Mountain. You kind of don't like him because like
I never had a problem with Tamlin.
I did because I was like, I felt like he could have did more, but at the same time he couldn't because of Amaranth's bitch ass.
I bought every single one of Lucian's lines. Like he can't. I was like, okay, I get it, baby. We're working with it.
Yeah, Lucian too, poor thing. But
so,
yeah, like I kind of felt that I'm gonna say with you. I was like, they're gonna make her fall in love with Rhys. And I was like, no, he's evil. We don't like him. Like, because
You were on board with Reese.
I liked him, but I
From
didn't.
the moment that you met him, you were like, I like this
He's
guy.
cute. I was like, he's a good time. But I didn't think that was going to be her mate. I thought something else was going to happen.
Okay.
I thought she was going to be in the spring court living happily ever after.
Well, that's what it would seem from the beginning of the book. So they're planning their wedding. Feyre is again having PTSD, and we get all the way up to the wedding day, and she's in this god awful meringue of a dress, and she's walking down the aisle. And I think the one thing that she had asked Ianthe was like, no red flowers, no red petals, nothing. And they had sprinkled red petals on the floor, and she has a complete panic attack.
Of course she does.
Because it reminds her of blood, and she's like, I'm not worthy of this person, of this life, of anything. So she starts to have a panic attack. She starts begging, please, 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 somebody come rescue me. Boom, Rhysand pops into the scene, and he says, hey, I gave you guys 3 months off. I'm going to take this chick. And then he scoops her up and takes her to the Moon Palace above the Hewn City.
I thought Mor got her.
Mor picks her up after he locks her in the house. Initially, Feyre is very upset with Rhysand popping on the scene and stealing her away and ruining her wedding day. Kind of underneath all that, like, Feyre's kind of saying, no, it's fine. Like, it would have been worse if she had said no to him at the altar, because that's where it was heading. Mm-hmm. So he steals Feyre away for a week and basically just kind of like gives her like some of the night court kind of clothes, tries to get her to eat, and starts kind of just interacting. Rhysand's just trying to interact with Feyre in any way that he can to kind of like let her know that he's a friend to her. Mm-hmm. So after that week, he returns her to the spring court. Tamlin scoops her up, flips off Rhysand, and what you think should be like a happy reunion, Feyre's obviously missed Tamlin. Tamlin immediately takes her into a room with Lucien and starts asking her to describe in detail where she was at, what she saw, and what she can tell him about the Night Court.
Because they're still scared of the Night Court. They think it's like this evil, just horrible place.
Yeah, exactly.
So they think the worst,
Which is kind of upsetting because, like, I like from Feyre's point of view, you're sitting there going, like, I was expecting, like, a warm homecoming, but, like, he eventually, like, immediately goes into like military mode, which kind of just shows like how kind of detached he is.
He is, yeah.
So during this time, whenever she's also in the spring court, she's also getting to know Tamlin a little bit more. Like originally, it's just them and Lucien, and then maybe some like after the glamour's removed, maybe some little other people, but it's mostly just them.
But she hasn't seen him as like a high lord yet.
Exactly, he hasn't been performing his lordly duties because of everything that was going on with Amarantha. So she's starting to actually see who Tamlin is as a ruler and how he acts in that role. Mm-hmm. One of those things that happens is the tithing, or the taxing.
Oh yeah, when the people come and give the stuff,
Yeah. And so she's having to sit up there and
be all proper, and she's just like, it's not me.
Yeah, she's not into it. She doesn't feel like she's deserving of any of this. One of the people that come up there, I believe it was a water nymph.
Yeah.
They said that they didn't have any fish. Like, if they give them the fish that they do have, they'll starve. Mm-hmm. And Tamlin shows no mercy. So, of course, she's kind of taken aback by this. I mean, she grew up poor and having to fight for every single morsel of food. So she probably was thinking in her mind that, like, it'd be nice if, like, some lordling...
We have all this extra stuff. Like, what's the big deal?
Yeah.
It's a couple pieces of fish.
So she ends up, like, giving this water nymph, like, her jewelry. And then she ends up like being able to pay her taxes, and then Tamlin gets mad at her about it. It's like this kind of ridiculousness.
Like you're disrupting the flow of things.
Yeah.
That's not how we rule here.
Mm-hmm. And then Feyre's also trying to like go out and like help the people, but they're like, ma'am, we don't need anything. The debt is paid. Like, you're good. And like, so she's not really feeling fulfilled in her role.
Or useful.
Yeah.
Like, she's just like, I'm here.
Lucien kind of took her out to show her that she should just be at home doing nothing. It's really difficult for her to get through all that. So Rhysand starts calling in his debt
He's like
regularly.
Once a month, right?
One week out of the month. Yeah. So he's coming by regularly now. Every time she gets scooped up, it's like Tamlin gets a little bit more crazy. Mm-hmm. Like at first it's like this whole like war council thing, and then he's like getting a little bit aggressive, and then like he like a switch flips in his brain, and he's like, I have to protect this person whether or not they want it from themselves even. Right. So the whole time like that she's with Rhysand, she's able to relax, she's eating, she's learning to read, Rhys is teaching her how to like use her shield in her mind. And then she comes home, and then she's basically like confined. We get all the way up to the point that she's begging Tamlin to like let her off the grounds, let her explore the Spring Court, let her do literally anything because she's losing her mind. And he actually locks her in the palace. Yeah. And that sends her back into another pretty serious panic attack because she was locked in a dungeon for 3 months. And her fiance, who's supposed to like have her back, has just locked her inside. So she is now a prisoner in this house, essentially. She's actually able to use her powers like whenever she's in a panic like that. She makes everything like super dark. Alice, who we've met from the first book, helps get her out of there with Moore. So Moore ends up taking her over like the border and then transporting her to the Night Court. So she goes back to the Moon Palace, and she's with Rhysand, and Rhysand's like, what the hell happened? She's like, he locked me in, and he's like, this motherfucker.
So, can he hear her because they're mates, and she doesn't know they're mates?
She doesn't know that. Yeah, she's thinking that
But could he...
He's thinking he's communicating with her through the bargain. At this point. When they go back to the Moon Palace, Rhys is like, okay, you're here, I'm gonna go take care of some stuff, and she's like, can I come with you? And he basically says, like, look, if you come... you can't tell anybody about this, and then that means, like, you're here. So she makes the decision then to leave Tamlin after being locked in and using the Night Court as her refuge. So that's when, and this is basically the end of the first part, but that's whenever Rhysand takes her to Valaris, and we as the readers get to see Valaris for the first time. So Valaris is...
very beautiful.
Yes, this gorgeous city in the mountains in the Night Court that is Rhysand's. It's the place where it's a hidden city where he can kind of be himself. He's not playing the part of the High Lord for the rest of the courts like this kind of bad guy. He's like, he takes care of his people, and then Feyre, in contrast, can kind of see how he interacts in his court with his inner circle.
With his court,
So at this point, the only people that we know from the Night Court are Moore and Rhysand. But taking her to Valaris, we now know that she's going to meet the rest of his inner circle. So we're introduced to some more characters in the second part.
Some of my faves.
Some of the faves. So she's now staying in the townhouse with Rhys, which is on the city level. Immediately doesn't want to like meet anybody. She's had a hard day because there's like people knocking at his door. And she hears these voices. She's like, no. So she ends up just going to bed. But the next night they end up having dinner at Rhysand's second home because every High Lord needs 2 homes.
3, 4 homes.
Yes. So they end up going up to the House of Wind, which is where we meet Cassian, Azriel, and Amren. Amren is Rhys's second in command, so she's in charge of the city whenever he's gone. Cassian is the leader of his armies, his general. Azriel is his shadow singer, and then Moore is his cousin, but also, what does Moore do?
She's just there. She like helps run.
Well, I know like she's like third in command, but like she's here's the thing about Moore that I find very interesting.
She has a lot of baggage and unpacking.
She has a lot of secrets.
Yes.
And I don't think she says a lot because she has to tell the truth. But my thing is like, Sarah J. Maas is very particular
about when she releases information.
Well, but how she provides information to the reader. One thing that I think is very pertinent to the series is like whenever she's talking about Amarantha, she describes in really good detail the color red, and red is kind of like a representation of kind of like evil. And then whenever she's talking about when she's talking about like the petals, like
red,
like red, and then Moore is always wearing red. So it's like whenever you think about like how the story unfolds, I think it's really important to see
the colors and like the things that I've noticed.
But like
that
how Moore is presented specifically.
I always feel like if someone is gonna turn on them within, it's gonna be her. Like a lot of people thought it was gonna be what's her name, Amren, because we don't really know what she is and what she's not. But I'm like, no, I think if anybody turns on them, it's gonna be her. I don't know. Like, I like her, but she rubs me the wrong way at the same time. Like, she's got too many secrets. Like she has a whole castle or something that we
She got her own little home.
Yeah. That
Spent a lot of time on the continent.
Yeah.
Suspicious. It's like I saw this theory that was something along the lines of like Azrael wasn't. So it's like, is he in love with her or is he like keeping an eye on her?
Yeah. One of those two, yeah.
Because he doesn't trust her. Because all the. Anyways. Yeah. So we're introduced to the inner circle. And
Cassian.
For sure. I feel like you're an Azrael girl.
I do like Azrael.
Until you read Silver Flames and you were like, never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind.
I like Azrael. He's just.
I always loved Cassian though.
Cassian just seems like he's a fun time. Like he's just gonna be a goofball. He's just there. He's gonna do what his High Lord wants.
I think he's like
army.
He's definitely like resilient because like he had a hard upbringing, but like I think he just like he's very happy to like be there, be alive.
Yeah, he's just one of those like happy-go-lucky. I'm gonna do what my High Lord wants, whatever they want. He's very loyal to his court, but also like let's drink some wine and have a good time. Like he's one of those. Party. And Azrael's like
he's our emo king.
Yeah, he's very emo, but at the same time he's like
he's an introvert. Leave the boy alone. He's an introvert.
Yeah.
The dynamic between these characters, what I really like though is like how informal the inner circle is especially compared to like where she came from. Yeah. So I think that's like one of those things that you start to see, like changing her perspective. Like this is a place that she can be comfortable and be herself in, which was not the case.
So high and tight. And yeah. Very formal royal.
Yeah.
You can just be like, we're just chilling. Like,
right. That wasn't the case in the Spring Court. There was a lot of procedures and
formal. Yeah. And, yeah. They're always dressed up and to the nines, and she's just like, no.
So we know, I guess, based on the hierarchy of how the High Fae work within this world, Cassie and Azrael are not High Fae. No. Amryn is a High Fae, but she's kind of morphed into a High Fae. She's like wearing a High Fae suit because whatever she is on the inside. And then Rhys is of course High Fae and Mor is of course High Fae. Yeah.
But Azrael and Cassie are also Illyrians too.
Yes, they're Illyrian warriors, but they're not considered High Fae. They got rounded ears and wings. So the dynamic between the characters that we find out is that Mor was at one point like her father is a douchebag.
Sure.
In the Hewn City. Ugh. Like and is under the jurisdiction of Rhysand, but he kind of lets them do
their thing.
Yeah. Okay. With mild supervision. But she at one time was engaged to Eris, which was the son of the Autumn Court.
Which is where Lucian's
Lucian's brother.
Yeah.
That engagement ended up falling through because she lost her virginity to Cassian. On purpose, so that Eris wouldn't follow through with the marriage, and then right. Azrael has been quietly in love with Mor their entire life. So that's the dynamic between those three. Rhys became
Azrael besties.
Yeah, they became friends whenever they went to the Illyrian war camp.
Yeah, to train and become Illyrian
so they
warriors.
train from when they're babies. We know that. So basically, like Cassian, I think the story is like he was thrown out in the mud whenever he was like the second he was weaned from his mother and had to like fend for himself.
Because his mom didn't have a dad, right? She didn't know who his dad was.
She knew.
A bastard or whatever.
No, she was assaulted.
Yeah, I was gonna say so.
He had a wife or whatever, so she was like lowborn or whatever.
Yeah. It's pretty. And then Azrael didn't have anybody. Right?
No, Azrael is the son of that I think he had with a servant.
Mm-hmm. He didn't learn to fly and all that till later on, right?
So he was kept in a cage and like burned. That's why he has the scars all over his hands with like oil. Mm-hmm. And he wasn't taken to the camp to train until he was a lot older. When his father found out that he was a shadow singer. So Azrael has like hatred for the Illyrians and their way of life. Cassian grew up in the muck of it. Like he had to fend for himself his entire life. And the way they formed a friendship is, Rhysand's mother loved him. She was a Illyrian. And they had this cottage. Cassian, on his first day there, beat the crap out of him and took his stuff. So he came home crying to his mom, and his mom kind of explained how it is.
This is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, how life is in these camps. And Rhysand was like, well, that was the first time I really understood what it was like to be loved and cared for. So he literally went and found out where Cassian was sleeping in the mud, under a tent that he probably stole from somebody else, and told him to come to the cottage, and then like his mom ended up taking care of both of them. So that's how they became friends. And then when Azrael showed up years later, far past I think the age of 8 is whenever they start training, he was kind of just adopted into their like little group of misfits, so to speak.
Because he had a hard time because he was like, I have to learn to fly and all that, and I'm older. Like, I don't know how to do anything.
Yeah.
Poor guy. But had he not been the shadow singer, you don't think they would have let him out the cage, huh?
No, I think he probably would have lived and died in there. And he was being tortured. So, like, he had, like, if you talk, like, the scars on his hands, pretty bad.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's the story of the three.
The Three Stooges.
The Three Stooges. Rhysand's backstory, though, is, like, his dad showed up. He was the High Lord of the Night Court. Dad showed up. His mom's wings were about to be clipped, and she was struggling. His bond clicked into place, and then he misted the people that were about to clip the wings, and then, like, they went and...
I love when he does that. He's just like...
Misting.
Yeah, he's just like, you know what?
And you're done.
Yeah. Rhysand pulls out some pretty cool tricks. He's the most powerful of them all, right?
The most powerful High Lord.
Yeah, he has to be.
Yes, of course. Feyre now being in the Night Court means that she's starting to learn what her powers are. She's training with Rhysand so she can learn all those different aspects. She has... Learning to read. And they're like writing these cute little notes back and forth to each other, but...
Oh yeah, they are.
That's adorable. But Rhysand also tells Feyre that he needs her assistance because he knows there's another war coming. King of Hybern is ramping up. He fought in the last war. He's trying to avoid all of this. So they come up with this plan they find out that he's trying to use the cauldron. And their plan is to nullify the cauldron using the Book of Breathings. Amren is the one that can like read the old language to potentially make all this work.
Like, super old.
And Rhysand's like, I need to go make alliances, and we need to find this book. So that kind of sets them on the path on like where this story is going.
The book's going, yeah.
So Feyre and Rhys and Amren, I believe, go to the Summer Court to make alliances because... I guess based on what happened under the mountain, homeboy's new. Tarquin is new to the role. Doesn't...
Oh, Tarquin.
I would have married him, for sure.
I thought they were going to be besties.
Well, it doesn't work out that way. But they go down to the Summer Court to make some alliances and get one half of the Book of Breathings. The other one they find out is with the human queens on the continent. So... they're doing two things, right? They go down to the human portion where her sisters are, and they're still in the manor, and say, "Hey, I'm high fae now. I went and saved my man. I got a new man. It's really complicated. Can you send a letter to the queens on the continent and say we need a meeting?" And Nessa's like, "Why are you bringing all this trash into my house?"
Fucking team Nessa.
Elaine is like terrified because it's Elaine. So they're in the Summer Court. And they're trying to get the half of the Book of the Breathings. They go and visit their sisters, and they're trying to like send this note to the human queens. By the way, I'm high fae. Everything's cool. Nobody look this way. So then they're in the Summer Court. We meet Tarquin. We meet their whole team.
We love Tarquin.
At this point, Feyre and Rhysand have what I would like to call a mild flirtation.
Yeah.
So
they flirt a lot.
They're
feeling each other.
She's starting to feel a little bit better. She's starting to keep food down. She's starting to actually be able to like relax, live her life to a certain extent.
She's gained some weight. She's looking at not gained weight like where she's fat, but like she looks healthy again.
Yeah, they're hanging out in Valaris. They go out to dinner. They go dancing. Like she's starting to feel
like a human.
Better or a high fae.
A high fae, but normal.
And this is when I say like I still kind of get butterflies because like during this point, like when the story's unfolding. The interactions between her and Rhysand are very cute, very sweet, flirtatious, and you can tell that she's still going through a lot, but she's starting to feel better, but she's still holding back, and it's just like that whole dynamic always just it's like perfect. I love it. It's my favorite. So when they're in the Summer Court and they have this mild flirtation, Rhys is flirting with somebody else, and she gets jealous, like to the point that like she can't even like. I think they're out like on like a sunset cruise or something, and like she can't even sit at the table, and she can't even do her part because she's so distracted by the fact that Rhys is like flirting with this other person. It's absolutely ridiculous. through their kind of like poking and prodding, they see this like piece of land that I guess through the tides or whatever, like sometimes it's underwater, sometimes it's a little bit exposed, and they see this door from, I guess, their rooms that they're staying in, or when they're exploring the castle. So whenever they kind of prod the summer court peeps about it, they're like, oh yeah, that's nothing, let's go over here. So like that kind of gives them that kind of gives them the feeling that like something's up. This is where the book is at. And there's also like this prophecy of like calls to like, so Farrah for her part gets this tug, and she knows that this is the right path that they go on. So they make this scheme to go and get the book, which just completely falls apart and everything goes to shit.
Anything that could go wrong went wrong.
Yes. So they were like,
they wanted to do it without Tarquin knowing.
Yeah. So one thing we learn about Amren is that she knows how to use word marks to open things, in addition to like knowing the old language. So that's like kind of like a harken back to the Throne of Glass series.
I know, I freaked out. I was like, oh, she can do
the thing. So basically, the second that they go into this chamber to get this half of the book, all these alarms start going off.
Every alarm known to man goes off.
Rhysand has to knock out the guards. The room starts filling with water. Amren and Farrah are panicking.
They're drowning. They're gonna start drowning soon.
Amren's trying to open these doors with the word marks. They got the book.
That's the only good thing that happened.
So like they're about to die, and then all of a sudden they get ripped out of the water. They're jetting all the way to the shore. They get dropped off, and a water nymph says, "The debt is paid.
We're done here."
So because she did this good thing for the water nymphs,
they were able to live.
They ended up surviving. So Rhys grabs them, scoops them back to the townhouse, fall on the floor, and Amren and Farrah just start busting out laughing, which I think is the appropriate response.
There's no other thing you can do.
And Amren's like, there is no one else on the planet that would have given those water nymphs the time of day. But you did it, and you just saved her life. And she just finds that the most hilarious thing.
Yeah.
The other thing, I guess, with Amren while she's there is like she may or may not have a love interest.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Her dude.
Yeah.
So she meets who is it? Varys?
It's with a V. Yeah, Varys.
V something.
Yeah, but that's her.
So it's
that's her boo.
Well, not yet.
Not yet, but that's her love interest.
They're just kind of like staring at each other from across the room, like,
hey.
Oh, here's something that I might have missed if we're not doing this chronologically. Farrah has to, like, as a part of, like, her training and learning her powers, Rhys takes her into the middle to meet the Weaver.
Oh, the ring. Yeah.
Yes, where she has to go into the Weaver's house and steal a ring that his mom had left there. That we don't know it at the time, though, but it's, like, this precious thing that he's like, you have to go get this. And she ends up almost getting eaten alive, and it's pretty traumatic. Yeah. And she's like, I forgot I have this power. And then he gets mad that she forgot. And it's like, dude, this is all new to her.
Yeah, but she's trying to figure it out. And he's just hanging on the trees watching her almost get fucking mutilated.
Yeah, he gets some shit for that because they're like, you took her to the Weaver?
Who does that? Because she's still learning, like, she's learning that, like, she can shift.
Yeah, she's still learning her powers. Still very new for her.
She learns, like she has fire now, right? No.
She has a little bit of all of them. So she has like water elements and fire elements. She can shift, which is Tamlin's, and
then she can hear things no, she do what Rhys does?
Yeah.
Yeah, she can do what Rhys does.
Mind speak, and then enter other people's minds.
Oh yeah, no, because she does it with Cassie and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. The water power though is from Tarquin from the Summer Horde.
And then the ice is
from the Winter Horde, obviously. Yeah. So
who does she get from Autumn? That's the fire?
Fire, yeah. Yeah. They're still training. They go actually pretty far up into the Illyrian range, into the mountains to do her training. While they're there, Lucian shows up. And he's trying to bring her back, and he can winnow. She's convincing Lucian to basically leave her alone because she's like, I left, you shouldn't be here, whatever. Wow. So she kind of scares him off. She does her, like, shape-shifting for the first time, and she actually grows wings. Yeah. So they go really high up, kind of into the mountain range. So they decide to do like an overnight stay, and there's this inn, and it's a there's only one bed,
of course,
thing. So this is like they've been out training all day. They bathe in the best way. There's food.
Whatever.
There's one bed.
They go lay down.
They finally profess that they have kind of sort of feelings for each other. So Vera tells Reese that she wants a distraction. Reese is like, this is very hurtful.
Yeah.
They get a little handsy.
I just like when she touches his wings.
At this point, they finally admitted that they have feelings for each other. Thank fucking God.
Oh my God, yes. Very long-winded.
So they don't stay very long in the end. The next morning they go out, they train, and they're on their way back whenever Reese actually gets shot with ash arrows. So they fall to the ground. He actually, like, tosses her.
Yeah, he does that. You're going to hate this. He does the Edward Cullen to do
Yeah.
He threw her. He pulled an Edward Cullen and threw her.
Guys, we almost made it.
You almost made it. Twilight reference.
Got a Twilight reference. We're this close.
This close.
Didn't
You know how to get my boo in there.
Anyways.
Let's read that again.
No. I can't. I honestly, like, I couldn't read Twilight if I wanted to anymore. It just, no.
I'm going to read it to you.
Ugh. On here, while I cringe in the background.
Okay, so he Edward Cullen her, deduced her.
Yeah, so.
He skeeted her. He yeeted her.
He threw her. Yes, he yeeted her.
Not skeeted, yeeted. Sorry.
So because of all of her training, she's able to actually track him. And the reason why she's able to track him, because there's a scent on him because he didn't take a bath that morning of her because they fooled around the night before. Oh my God. So she tracks him down to this cave where he's actually shackled up in some Gorson shackles which steal his power. So he's not healing as fast as he can. Still has arrows in his wings. She finds the Fae that took him into this cave and murders them.
Yeah, just fucking.
Not in cold blood. This is revenge. She's very upset. Like, she's not having any qualms about murdering these people.
Somebody, yeah.
So she gets the shackles off. He's still healing too slow, and she decides she's going to go and find somebody to help her figure out how to heal him.
Our favorite guy.
So she goes off. She sets a trap, and then
here he is again.
The surreal is just like, it's my time to shine.
It's here I am again.
So he gets caught, which I'm pretty sure he was just like, oh no,
I got caught again. My Feyre, she's so good at this.
So he asks, like,
what do you need? What's going on?
How do I heal homeboy? And he's like, it's in the forest. And she's like, for the love of God, no riddles. Tell me straight. How do I save this bro? So he tells her, it's like, okay, well, give him some of your blood because you got healing blood from Dawn or Day Court.
One of the courts. Yeah.
I think it's Day Court. So then he's like, look, if you also get this flower and feed it to your mate, then that'll help his healing. And she sets him loose, and then immediately goes, the fuck did you just say?
Wait, now she's already been like, wait, you gotta trap him again to see how he. Yep, nope.
No, but then he's just like, let's have a little conversation.
Yeah.
So the surreal lets Feyre know that Rhysand is her mate, and she's like shooketh.
Yeah, she's like, squeeze me, and we're like, bro,
come on.
So then she has to go save his ass, and now she's mad.
So she grabs the flower. Throws it on, like, goes back to the cave, throws it on his chest. There's, like, dirt and everything. And he's like, what? And she's like, eat that. And then he, like, chews on the flower, and then, like, he feeds her the blood. And she's like, did you know? So she questions him, and he's like, his first thing is like, oh, you found the surreal?
Yeah.
And then she's like, bitch, don't try to change the subject.
Of course he knew.
So yes, he knew. He knew that they were mates, and he knew from the end of the last book. So when he stumbled, it was him. It was the bond for him clicking into place. So he's known for a half a minute.
He's known for a majority of the books. Yeah.
Yes. So he heals up enough that she's able to winnow back to the camp, the Illyrian camp.
And she's like, "Boy, get me out of here."
Drops him in the mud, and he's still healing. And I think Cassie and Amor are in the cottage, and like they spring out and they're like, "What's going on?" And Moore's like, like what happened to Reese? What's going on? Oh my God!
Yeah.
And she's like, "Get me the fuck out of here!"
Yeah, get me out of here.
So she winnows her out to their little cottage out in the snow.
Their hideout.
Their vacation home.
Yeah.
Whatever. So she's up in the cabin. I think she stays there for a little bit less than a week.
Right.
And the cabin is spelled the same way that like the House of Wind is. It's going to give you whatever you need. So she, like, there's paints in there. She decides to paint the inside of the cabin.
Why?
So Moore shows up after a couple days to check on her.
Yeah.
And she comes in and she's like, "You painted.
Great.
This looks nice."
Yeah, because
you know that we're just gonna paint mustaches underneath the eyes. Why'd you paint Amber's eyes? Because she's watching everybody. Creepy.
Yeah.
Why are you doing this?
Yeah, it's weird.
So she paints the entire inside of the cabin. There's paint everywhere. Moore's like, cool. Hangs out with her a little bit, leaves. I think the next day or something, there's knocking at the door again, and boom, Reese's Pieces shows up at the door. We get into the two legendary chapters that I think everybody talks about. It's chapter 54 and chapter 55.
Yeah.
So chapter 54 is a total and complete explanation of everything that Reese has done to her since she's come on the scene.
Yeah.
Why him and Tamlin hate each other.
Yeah. Pretty much is everything.
Just
gets
full confession.
Out, like,
full confession.
Because he's telling pretty much under like everything because he wants her to accept him as her mate. So he's like, I'm gonna come clean, and then.
Here's all the deets.
Yeah.
Tamlin and his father, well, not Tamlin, but Tamlin's father killed Rhysand's mother and sister.
Yeah.
Rhys, in response, then killed Tamlin's father, making them both kind of high lords, and then they kind of just left it at that, like, eye for an eye, I guess.
Yes, we're done. Yeah.
So that's why they hate each other. We find out the reason why we didn't meet Castian or Azriel or Moore or Amren under the mountain was because Rhys had, whenever he realized what was happening with Amarantha and the magic that was stealing his power took effect, he wiped them from everybody's mind and then sealed off Valaris. So during the whole 50 years he was under the mountain,
nobody knew where they were or what they were doing.
Well, Cassian and Azriel were pretty upset because he did the self-sacrificing thing, but like nobody from the other courts knew who these people were because of that. That's the other half. So like we know that Rhysand for this whole time has been playing a part and has basically been appeasing Amarantha to keep the attention off of
everybody else.
Yeah. Which I guess kind of alludes to like why we should forgive Rhys for everything that happened under the mountain.
Because it makes sense.
Yes. And then he also says that like he had visions of Feyre before they ever met.
Mm-hmm.
They were a little bit blurry until like he saw a vision of Calanmai.
Mm-hmm.
And that's whenever he realized that she was on the other side of the wall and she might have been human. So he had to go. He made up an excuse to go to Calanmai to see her. Because he was thinking in his mind, this might be my only chance to ever see this person, my mate. After everything, in the high fae culture, how a woman accepts a mating bond is by providing food for her mate. So she gives him soup. And she tells him that she loves him, has always loved him, will always love them. And then they have the entire chapter's worth of sex.
Yeah, they did.
Which, at this point, it's pretty far into the book. This is a slow burn book.
Yeah, it's very slow.
As far as, like, how the writing goes and how the build-up is.
It was good.
It
was tasteful. Everything was done correctly.
He tells her afterwards, the reason why I came up here wasn't for that. It was because we heard from the human queens. We kind of gotta go. So after a day, they go back down to their cottage and the war camp. And Cassian, who again is the best character that I've ever met, says, "Hey, Feyre doesn't look too tired. Why don't I give her a ride?" And then the whole thing is they're supposed to go off and like accept this mating bond for like a week to get all this stuff out of their system.
They did like 24 hours.
So Rhysand is like amped up, so he attacks Cassian and starts beating the crap out of each other, which I just fucking love.
They're just dorks. They're just boys.
I know, it's just hilarious. But like, Cassian knew that he was going to be was like, let me just see if he can work some of this aggression out on my face, and decides to get into a fight with Rhysand, which is just hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
So they punch the crap out of each other. They're in the mud. Is how I picture it. Just fist fight. So then they end up going down to humans' lands and hanging out with Nesta and Elaine and the human queens. Oh, geez, I missed one part, but maybe it's not that important. They have to get this orb to show the queens. In order to get the orb, Rhysand and Feyre distract Moore's father by like grinding on each other in the human city.
Yeah.
So that was
the orb. Yeah.
Yeah. So they have the orb. That's how they got the orb. So they're showing the orb so they can instill some trust with the human queens and why they need the other half of this book. We find out the human queens can winnow. Moore whips out the orb, says, look, I can only tell the truth. This is our city, and this is how we build good faith with you guys. And they're like, maybe. They decide, I guess, at the second meeting, after Feyre has accepted the mating bond, and she's like all dressed up in like her crown and everything, we're not going to give you the book. Peace out. Yeah. So they leave, and one of the queens left the book behind. So they snap it up. They're super excited. They head back to Velaris, and they're immediately attacked and sold out to the King of Hybern. And the Golden Queen, I believe it was the one who gave the book to them, and she gets spitted. And this is this is one of the things that I always thought was like super awkward. The water wolves. Yeah. So Feyre is the defender of the rainbow because Rhysand's off doing some sort of business. Her and Cassian are kind of like...
They're all fighting because those people are...
Well, her and Cassian are kind of just walking around the city hanging out. And Feyre's being like super nosy and asking about more. And they get attacked, and Amren's there too, but like they're kind of fighting, but like she's the defender of the rainbow, and she makes these water wolves, and then she like winnows up into the sky and then like stabs the Atar, whatever.
Atar, yeah.
And a bunch of times, and then like winnows away, and like Rhys is like talking to her through the bond, and she's like blocking it out because she's like, I'm trying to murder this dude. Yeah. But I just thought that was so cringy. Like the water wolves to me was very cringy.
Well, why water wolves? Like.
Harken back to like how she got into this mess in the first place.
I don't know. I didn't like the water wolves either.
But then after the battle, they united the books. Amren's trying to read it. They eventually decide to go to Hybern to actually go and nullify the cauldron. They've done what they think they needed to do to go do that. So they end up coming up with a plan. I believe it's everybody except for Amren.
Yeah, Amren doesn't go, I don't think.
Goes. So it's Feyre, Rhys, Azriel, Cassian, and Moore. They all go to Hybern to nullify the cauldron. How did you picture the cauldron? How did you picture the cauldron?
You're not gonna like my answer.
My answer?
I just, like, like back in the day when you would, like Hocus Pocus, like little witches, little, like where she cooks the children. Like this little thing. Yeah. Like something I could just pick up and throw in the back of a pickup truck. Like, I didn't picture it as anything like you could drop anything into besides like make some soup. Like, I didn't think it was that big.
So, have you seen like the
pictures of what it actually looks supposed to look like? Yeah, no.
Okay.
Just like the surreal, like he's supposed to be this creepy, like, and I'm just like, no, that's like, to me, it's Kermit the Frog, like in a freaking like cloak, like that's our friend, like, oh, you want to do things, like
So when they get to Hybern and they approach the cauldron and they're attempting to nullify it, it's like, they basically end up in a trap. King of Hybern's like, what's up? And out of the woodwork comes our long lost friend Tamlin and Lucien, who have sold out to Hybern in an attempt to get Feyre back. To make matters worse, though, Ianthe told the King of Hybern about Feyre's sisters, and her sisters are also there. So the queens are also there. The 5 human queens, so there's 3 queens there because one of them's dead, and then the other one, who was also against the plan, has been captured and imprisoned. The King of Hybern's trying to like show the queens like how the cauldron works. So they throw Elaine in. Right. So she goes into the cauldron. She comes out high fae, and all the human queens are like, "Oh my god, this is so cool." Yeah.
Then Lucien with his swirly eye.
And then Lucian's like,
"Shit.
She's my mate."
Yeah.
And everybody's like,
"What?" Like, even if you do that, just that's something we keep to ourselves.
For now.
That's something we keep to ourselves for now. Lucien.
Just like, don't say everything that comes into your head, sir.
Like he let. What is it when you let your thoughts take over? Like, sir, that's something we keep here. That's not something we need to say out loud.
It happened, though.
And I'm just like, as soon as he said that, I was like, fucking Lucien. Like, come on, bro.
So then they throw Nesta in. Nesta's fighting tooth and nail.
Yeah, of course.
She also does the death point to the King of Hybern, and even he was kind of like, ew. So she comes out high fae as well. Farrah is freaking out. At this point,
because all hell's breaking loose.
Yeah, all hell is broken loose at this point.
What's his name's wings got burned.
Yeah, so like whenever like the initial blast of power happened, like Cassian tried to protect everybody with his wings, which doesn't make any sense because they say an Aurelian will protect their wings first. Apparently not. So his wings
Cassian's
get
dumbass.
So
he got scared and was like, wings.
No, he was trying to protect everybody.
Yeah, I know, but it's like
shield them.
Of all things, okay, whatever.
Go
his
figure.
wings got charred.
So Azrael got stabbed. Cassian's wings got shredded.
Yeah.
They walked into like an area where there was like a spell that they couldn't use magic. So like they're all kind of like nullified.
You could just missed everybody and this all would have been over with.
Yeah, so they're all nullified. So Farrah, panicking, starts to like glow bright white, and this is her dawn powers. She breaks the spells that are around them. So like giving everybody back their power, and she's signaling to Rhys like,
through her mating bond, yeah.
Get these people the fuck out of there. So she starts pretending that like she's been coerced into this relationship with Rhys, and telling the King of Hybern to like break the bargain. And Rhys is like, no, don't do that. And she starts like clinging to Tamlin, like she's playing a part, right? She's doing what Rhysand did. Rhysand has taught her well. The King of Hybern, using the cauldron, breaks the bargain. During all the chaos of that, Mor goes and grabs her sisters and winnows everybody out of there. She goes with Tamlin, and Lucian's like, suspicious. Yeah. So they think that they've broken the bond.
And Lucian's bad because his mate's now gone. So
yes.
Like his mate bond is going crazy.
Well, he's like, his initial thing is like, they're going to do all these terrible things. Aurelians, they're crazy beasts, because that's what he perceives them as. And Farrah's kind of like, let's not worry about that right now. I'm so tired, Tamlin. Can we please get out of here? So her, Tamlin, and Lucian all go back to the Spring Court, and Tamlin is like, me and Ianthe are going to have a very serious conversation about boundaries. And I'm like, fuck off, man.
Fuck off. Yeah, you're stupid as hell. They're married, right?
Right. So that's how it leaves it. And then we get a Rhysand point of view in this book. So we jump back to the Night Court from Rhysand's point of view. We find out that they are married, and she is High Lady of the Night Court. So he gives her title. They are officially married, and he says that if they had taken off her other glove, they would have seen the wedding bond or mating bond or whatever, that bargain that they made from when they actually got married. So so the High Lady of the Night Court is now a spy inside the Spring Court, and her sisters are now High Fae, and that is how
we don't know if they have powers. We don't know anything about them other than
Mist and Fury ends, But so you've already finished the other 2 books?
Of course I did.
Or the other 3, if you want to include the novella.
I like the novella. It's a little Christmas special.
I have thoughts, but we won't get into that.
It's a little Christmas special.
So what are you reading right now?
Crescent City.
How far are you into it?
13 chapters. It's good. I just haven't had time, but I'm going to probably finish it this week. I'm going to start reading it.
So right now I'm reading Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood and When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker.
What is that book?
So this is When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker.
What's it about?
Dragons.
No. But you're one of those you read 2 different books. I can't read different books at the same time. It's not happening.
This doesn't even count like the books that I'm reading on my e-reader.
I'm 1 book at a time, and I could barely do that.
And I'm listening to an audiobook, so 4 books. I'm reading 4 books actively.
I'll have the same book on the e-reader, on the audio, and on in person, and still can't figure it out. I don't have time.
Wow.
What are we gonna leave in the comments? Snake? No, we can't do snakes. Wings? Bats?
Bats.
Yeah, we're gonna leave bats in the comments.
So if you made it this far in the video, please leave a bat in the comments.
3 bats.
3 bats. Or tell us like who your favorite
Bat Boy is.
Bat Boy is, yeah.
I'm team. It's like in order of okay. Who do you like more, Rhysand or Cassian?
Cassian.
Okay, yeah.
It doesn't. No hesitation. I think Rhysand's probably the one I like the least at this point.
Really? You like the Emo King more than Rhys?
I love an Emo King.
Okay, hold on, no, not even do that one. You have. Oh wait, no, because I haven't read the whole book yet.
What whole book?
Because I was going to say, like, you have Kangaroo over here.
Rune.
You have Kangaroo, you have Rowan, and you have
You're listening to the audiobook. You should know how to,
You have three. You have
Okay, which?
Rune,
Rune.
Rowan, and you have Resend.
What is with this woman and ours?
Which one do you like more?
Okay, in order of favorite to least favorite, I'm going to go Rune, Resand, Rowan. All right, so thank you so much for watching.
Alrighty, we did it. We got through a quart of Mist and Fury. Got 3 more to do, but we'll get there.
I don't think we're going to do a whole video for
Each
Frost
one.
and Starlight.
We'll just do it, yeah, we'll just throw it in there with the next book. Anyways, peace out.
Thank you so much for watching.
Bats.
Bye.
Whee! Bye.